Stepping over Nike, had to cop those O's. Only in that BBB, cause they black owned. I think I'm the GOAT. Bitch, I'm feeling like LeVar Ball. Caught these niggas with their guards off. Christine Lee is a blonde thot.
Alright, so Game 5 last night, Toronto won by 6. Coincidentally enough, I think their spread was actually minus 6.5, favoring Milwaukee. Leonard had 35, 9 and 7. First time Leonard's ever had 9 assists in a game.
You were wondering where the passing ability was at.
I found it. Outside of that, for the Raptors, Lowry didn't play bad, 17, 6 and 7. But I mean, obviously, the story of the game outside of Kawhi was Fred VanVleet, 21 of 7 and 9 from 3.
He does it again. He cooked off the bench last game too at like 18.
Who is Fred VanVleet?
From
Wichita State. Point guard used to cook on Wichita State with Ron Baker, your brother.
They do look alike.
Who Ron's in the league now, too. I don't know who Ron plays for.
He did get drafted to the Knicks, and then he got traded. God, who knows where.
But yeah, Fred VanVleet is killing it.
Cooking.
The last 2 games, I mean, you could argue that he's the difference. I mean, super close games. Again, Milwaukee's bench doesn't hold up to Toronto's bench.
No, sadly.
Specifically because of VanVleet this time, but
Sadly, their bench only got you 15.
same last game, maybe even worse last game. Whereas last game, Milwaukee had Toronto had 40 off the bench or more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this guy, Shannon Sharp says the Bucks have a better supporting cast. Giannis has a better supporting cast than Kawhi.
All season, it's kind of showed that way. It's just not showing that way now.
In the playoffs when it matters.
Correct.
But right, everybody would say Milwaukee was a more complete team before watching them play in a series. I feel like
I still
it's just
think
shown
they
in
are.
the series that the Raptors might be deeper.
I still think that they have a better supporting cast, but you guys know as well as I do, this is all about matchups, and quite frankly, the Raptors have been matching up a lot better with the Bucks.
100%. Do you think they're going to pull off the reverse sweep like the 2006 Miami?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm sorry, but Wes's pick right now looks golden. I think Toronto wins it Game 6 at home.
That's what he was asking. It's not technically a reverse sweep, but he's saying you think Toronto goes down 0-2 and then wins 4 in a row.
Gotcha. I thought you were meaning did the Bucks come back and win.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you think Toronto closes it out?
Yes, I think they close out tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Damn. I mean, Kawhi was definitely that puts him up there. Like, he's carrying the squad. He left the Western Conference, came to the Eastern Conference. Does that mean the Eastern Conference is weak? Like, he's just carrying people, this team through these playoffs. Like, is he the next thing? I mean, he was already a thing, but he's carrying them like LeBron. Scoring.
He's proving that he's a true franchise player, not just a really good player. He is a franchise player. The Raptors have always been good, but, I mean, when it comes down to it, they've always had to play LeBron, and they just have, like, a mental thing against them where they can't beat him no matter what.
That's DeMar DeRozan. I always never liked that guy. I thought he was decent, but I thought people put him on this pedestal that he didn't belong to. Clearly.
Yeah, because he doesn't really he can't really shoot. Like, he gets to the rim, he gets to the foul line a lot, and he has a decent mid-range. No, he has an above-average mid-range, but he just, like James Harden, he gets to the foul line just about more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Is it more about Kawhi being head and shoulders better than everybody and, dominating the moment as much, or is it Milwaukee not, showing up for the moment that they, worked their ass off all year for?
Giannis is getting 24, 6 and 6, which is decent, but MVP, he's got to show up.
18 shots. 18 shots is not enough.
So
he can't shoot a 3. That's why.
So
he just gotta shoot more.
I think it's a combination of both. The Bucks all year have been one of the best defensive teams in the league and one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. Last night, they shot 10 of 31 from 3. So I mean, it's that cliche: you live and you die by the 3. But
and Middleton didn't have a good game scoring, but he 10 boards.
yeah, he was.
Did what he fucking could, and the rest of the starters played pretty well. Bledsoe, Lopez, and I guess Brogdon started last night. Brogdon's been cooking all playoffs.
And that's kind of a sign of a good player. Like, if you can't score, what can you fall back on to help your team win? He got you 10 boards, 10 assists.
No, that loss isn't on Middleton shooting bad. He did what he could. I think Giannis has to take more shots. The rest of everybody else, like the bench, obviously not giving him enough help. But I think if you've watched Milwaukee, like you realize that's the case. They're not going to get a lot of help.
Check this stat out.
Giannis got to shoot more.
Milwaukee and Toronto both shot the same amount of shots total. Milwaukee shot 38 of 84 with 45%. Toronto shot 31 of 84 with 36.9%. They made 8 more threes, and that was the difference. They only won by 6.
I think that was the same kind of thing the game before, 15 or 16. And I kept saying Clay. I sent Clay like the team stat box score, and I was like, "How is fucking Toronto even winning?"
Yeah,
like, the turnovers were the same. Like the shots were the same. There was nothing standing out outside of, I guess, 3-point advantage again.
Free throws in this game was what really stands out. Toronto had 31, shot 80%. Bucks had 18, shot 72%. So I mean, you make free throws, you win the game.
So one thing that I think you got to look at is we're saying Giannis is getting 24. I would like to know how many of those 24 are fast break points, because when it comes to half court set, you know what he can do to beat you, and that's only drive. He doesn't even have really an above average mid range, and he doesn't have a 3-pointer. So if Kawhi just stands and they just box him in, that's really all you have to do to him half court. So I bet you 50% I would say like 30 to 40% of his points were fast break, and then the other to make up the 50% free throws. I just don't think he's a great half court player.
I think this was Brogdon's first start. He had 18 points, 11.
And 6 assists.
Bro, Brogdon's nasty.
He shot like 48%. So I mean,
yeah,
he did what he needed to.
Job. He did his fucking job. Like, and they started their best 5. They went with like their best 5, and Raptors just have more than a best 5.
But
Danny Green 0 points.
Right. You said the other day, Wes. How is this guy what is he doing on the court?
What is he doing? Like, only 16 minutes tonight. It was much worse the other night. 40-minute, horrible performance.
They didn't take Fred VanVleet off the floor. 16
minutes tonight. That's a waste of 16 minutes. Yeah, like, I guess maybe Fred could admit, like, 37 minutes is plenty, obviously. Like, if there's any way they can get Danny Green less minutes, give him less minutes.
But I think the one thing that you got to look at, and I want your input on this, Bear, is everyone's big thing right now is talking about who's the best player right now. I think the main discussion's between Steph and Kawhi at this moment. If Kawhi lifts them over this in Game 6 especially, you got to say Kawhi is the best player playing right now, right?
I don't know if I'd say best player. I think we got to go to the point where we say most valuable, because the best player is Kevin Durant. The most valuable, I'd say Kawhi.
Well, I said that's playing right now. KD's not playing right now.
Still, KD's the best player. I know he played in the playoffs. If you look at him, he's still the best player. When he comes back, he's going to be the best player. The most valuable player would be Kawhi, in my opinion. The second most valuable would be Steph Curry. So I kind of differentiate between value and best player, because those are two different things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that value and pure talent's better.
Kawhi's not better than Durant, no matter how destructive he looks right now.
I don't think anyone believes that. But the thing that you can't deny is KD's not playing right now.
The question is more about, is Kawhi better than Giannis? Because everybody was really quick, including myself, to like throw Giannis into the like top tier, which he obviously is, but Kawhi's low key.
the one thing I'll say to that, because I've been big on the Giannis thing, is it is undoubtedly that Kawhi is playing head and shoulders above Giannis right now. That's the one
Three
thing
straight
I'll
games,
say.
yeah.
Like, Giannis is playing bad, and he shot 9 of 18, got 13 boards and 14 points. Like, no, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. He had 24 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, shot 9 of 18. Like, that's still a pretty good game. I
It's
mean,
good, but it's not good enough.
it's not.
No, everybody's saying.
It's not as good as Kawhi's 35, 9, and 7. It's not.
He's got to get to the line more, bro. How is he not? He's got to get to the line. He's not getting to the line.
I mean, he got there 9 times. He used just 4 of 9.
Which is terrible.
And Kawhi got there.
He's a guy. If he's a guy who takes all of his shots in the paint, which we could all agree the majority of his shots come from the paint. He needs to get fouled more, get to the line more, and make his free throws.
He missed 5 free throws and they lost by 6 points.
And Kawhi got there 9 times also and was 8 of 9.
And we've said the 3-point game, but right there is
So yeah,
Free throws on him.
Meech, you're obviously all in on your game 6. Bear, what do you think happens next game?
It's in Toronto, right?
Yes.
Oof, man, it's a tough one. I say Toronto with the 2-point spread. They're gonna win. I'm saying in favor of Toronto, 2 points.
Right. So here's one, like, so obviously when you game plan for the Warriors, I mean, you have the old saying, well, I mean, you just gotta hope they miss their shots. So, like, Wes, if you were to, like, game plan for the Warriors, without Durant for right now, because you can only go off what they have right now, what's your, like, how do you game plan for them? Like, I mean, obviously you can't let Steph go crazy with the threes, but, like, what's your defensive game plan against them?
I guess you just trap every screen and hope that Draymond isn't on point.
Hope that Draymond isn't what?
On point, like with
Right.
his scoring right off the pick or like passing out of the pick pops. Like you really just have to like let Draymond beat you and hope he doesn't, and just trap. Don't let Steph step and hit open threes and bury you like that in an NBA final.
So you're saying
If
don't.
Draymond's the MVP, make Draymond be the MVP of the final.
So you're saying don't guard them like the Blazers did game 1.
Please try something else.
What about you,
It
Bear?
doesn't have to be what I said, but anything other than that.
What
I
about
like
you?
what Wes said. And to just add to it, you got to put Kawhi on Steph. I was trying to think which one would be more important for him to be on him or Clay. I think Kawhi's got to be on Steph because you take Steph out of the game and Durant's not in the game. You're gonna leave it up to Clay, and you can put somebody on Clay to cover that, like trap the screens, like Wes is saying. But if you take Steph out of the game, he's playing phenomenal right now. If you take Steph out of the game, it's gonna make it really hard for that Golden State team to win without Durant.
Boy, if you shut Steph down, for sure.
Yeah, if you shut
you can limit both of them, just destroying Steph.
if you shut Steph down with no KD, that's without the question. You go
So
Kawhi
Leonard
on
would guard
him.
But we're jumping the gun with Toronto too. Like,
Right. You never know.
I would like them to, so that I would have predicted it correctly. But I don't necessarily think Toronto's gonna win that game for sure.
So one more thing on NBA, because I agree with you both. You have to trap the picks and like you said, Bear, put Kawhi on Steph and just pray that all else goes well. But so with LeBron, like, do you think that if he would have had a coach that was worth a shit, like that would have elevated his game even more, like taught him winning basketball? Because if you think about it, all he's really, who's the best coach he's had? Probably Eric Spoelstra.
People don't put respect on Eric Spoelstra's name.
They don't.
Yeah, Spo's by far the best coach, and I thought Spo was not a good coach, but yeah, he's definitely been the best coach.
I didn't think Spo was worth a shit when they had him, because I've always said, like, since that he came with the Heat, because that's always been my team, is like, how do they not get a good coach in there with LeBron? They always get like David Blatt, Ty Lue, who was an intern, and then like Luke Walton, and then they just hired what's that guy's name? Frank Vogel. Like, do you think that having a different coach of a higher caliber would elevate his game?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's because there's only maybe two coaches, probably only one coach in the league that LeBron would sit there and listen to. LeBron just doesn't respect the coaches, and it's maybe he has a great coach, but that's pop.
Your shit just broke up really bad on me.
There's only one coach in the league that LeBron respects, and that's probably Popovich.
Yeah, I
LeBron,
agree with that.
He's hard to coach because he thinks he knows everything, which he probably does. And
Yeah, he has that ego.
I feel like it's really, really hard to judge a coach to perceive differently.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Until it's past the situation, like people didn't put that respect on Eric Spoelstra's name until way after the fact.
And that's because, like, think about that. Think about what he had to do. He was a young coach. He had to coach Dwayne Wade, coach LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. He had to take these superstars and make them play cohesively. And they didn't in the first season. Like, remember the first 20 games or so? They didn't have a great record, but they figured it out.
Right.
And they played as a team. That's why I think people don't give Spoelstra the respect. I think now even Dwayne Wade and LeBron, they like Coach Spo. They like the way he handled things. They had their arguments. They had this and that. At the end of the day, Coach Spo doesn't get enough respect. I've never liked that because I am a Heat fan. But the fact that he was able to put those guys together and make them play cohesively and take them to 4 straight finals, and that says something about him. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. Whether or not they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the first finals, you could say that's Spoelstra's fault. But at the end of the day, I mean, LeBron went from the chosen to the frozen.
That's when the chosen one became the frozen one.
But at the same time, Bear, to counter your point, like, so he went with David Blatt, Ty Lue.
Ty Lue's good.
I mean, how good though?
Well, here's the thing. Like Wes was saying, it's hard to judge a coach. I mean, I don't know if he was saying it's because of LeBron, but I personally think it's hard to judge a coach who coaches LeBron because LeBron is so knowledgeable of the game. Like I said, there's only one coach in this league that he respects more than himself as far as basketball knowledge, and that's Greg Popovich.
But with what you're saying though, like, how could you judge how good Ty Lue is? Because he's only ever coached LeBron. And then whenever he wasn't, they were complete shit. But granted, they didn't have a chance to be anything other than shit.
That's like saying, how do you judge Steve Kerr? Because he's only had players. Like, is he a great coach?
How
do you judge him?
He's a great basketball mind. I mean, you got to say he's a really good coach. I mean,
anybody that's a coach in the NBA is a great basketball.
Yeah, but we're talking different calibers. Like,
True.
So, like, I mean, you could say, yeah, he's a hell of a coach because he took with what Mark Jackson had and just did it better. Like, yeah, I'm sure that Curry and Clay got better as well, but, I mean, they weren't at their peak with Mark Jackson, I will say. Like, who's to say that Mark Jackson couldn't have done the same thing? But at the same time, Kerr's the one that did it, so you can only go off that.
Is Kevin McHale coaching still?
No.
Not sure.
He's the modern day Mark Jackson.
They got lucky with Steve Kerr because Steve Kerr's a 3-point. I mean, and then you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. He knows how to get those guys the ball.
Why did Kevin McHale get fired by the Houston Rockets?
I would say they just weren't getting over the hump.
Have they since?
Yeah.
He never took them to a Western Conference final.
No.
But James Harden sucks.
Yes.
I thought they had gotten to the Western Conference Finals with McHale. I just thought it was a dumb fire.
And when I say James Harden sucks, I mean he wasn't that great then in the playoffs. He was just really freeze. He wasn't.
I'm a big Kevin McHale fan.
But yeah, at the same time, Bear, to your point, where like no one wants to coach him and he doesn't respect anyone. Like, he never had a coach, so like he literally did all this shit by himself. Like, he never had that great coach like Phil and Pat Riley to like take him over the top and give him guidance. Like, he did this all by himself. So like that's why he has this ego that is just like makes him hard to listen to anything.
Well, and the way LeBron plays is not really, I don't know, like setting up a game plan around a guy that does those things on the court is kind of weird too. Like, It's
Yeah,
just
like
not something that you can't prepare for LeBron to sky and move around the court like he does and build your team around that.
yeah,
It's
like
hard.
how are you supposed to tell the role players what their role is? Like, yeah, so just pretty much stand on the 3-point line. LeBron will drive, and if you're open, he'll throw it to you.
If
Like,
LeBron looks at you, be ready.
yeah, and if he's not looking at you, still be ready, or else you're gonna
I mean,
fucking sit.
That's pretty much what it was, unless you had Kyrie. I mean,
Yeah,
It was different when he played for the Heat too, because Wade was like,
a god.
since like not having Wade, nobody has ever been able to check LeBron on any team he's had before. Wade would check him guaranteed, and it's not like he goes unchecked 24/7.
and one thing that's really crazy to say is like how great of a teammate Dwayne Wade is, because he had way more like credentials. Not he wasn't a better player, but he had more credentials at the time, so he was a little bit more well respected in that manner. And he was just like, "Hey man, this is your team. I'm just gonna like help us play winning basketball."
And he learned that because he played with
Shaq.
Shaq kind of passed him that torch. He was like, "Yeah, Dwayne Wade, do your thing. You got to carry us. Do what you got to do. I'll do what I got to do." And he kind of took that mentality and gave it to LeBron. He was like, "I'm the older guy now. I'm going to help you out, LeBron. But at the end of the day, you got to be the guy."
Yeah, you could just say that Dwayne Wade really elevated LeBron's game too, because I think without Wade, LeBron wouldn't even be close to where he's at. Like I really think that elevated his game more than it goes,
Learn
because
how to
that's
become a champ.
yeah, because that's something that goes unnoticed. You can't put a stat to that.
He definitely wouldn't have won that 2016 finals if he didn't play with Wade.
Yeah, like the Oak, all of them,
Just
the
being
two.
able to dig like that deep to win that final, I don't think it was in him. And then like just Wade big brothered him so hard into like the champion era.
Because like the one against the Spurs where Ray Allen hit that three, that's one of the most memorable shots ever. The thing is, LeBron hit a three to keep him in it right before that, and then he missed the very next one that gave Chris Bosh the rebound to give it to Ray Allen. To whereas he missed that shot, their season was over. That's why that shot's way more memorable.
You're saying the shot he hit before that?
I'm
The
talking.
shot he hit, the drive, the possession before the Ray Allen shot.
Yeah, the possession before that, LeBron hit a three, I believe, to either tie it or put him down one.
Right. That's not what it's about, bro. It's about the last shot.
Yeah,
right?
the thing people
Well,
like
at
to
least
say
he had
is
the decency to shoot it with enough time to where Ray Allen could even get another shot up because he shot it like right at the buzzer.
the thing people say is, well, LeBron missed that shot right there that Ray Allen ended up hitting, and it's like, well, he hit the one before that, motherfucker.
And thank God he didn't just sit there out there, pull Damian Lillard, and not even give Ray Allen the chance.
Yeah,
Like, if he missed.
it may be because he knows he's not that great of a 3-point shooter, so it's like, hey, if it goes in, great, we'll play great D. But if not, like, I mean, we got to hopefully get the board.
I wonder if maybe in the huddle, did they huddle before that whole sequence, or did they have a timeout?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
Well, I feel like if they did, I feel like that's something Coach Spo is saying. Like, give LeBron the ball, tell him to have him shoot at like 8 seconds, so somebody can get the rebound, we can get another shot. If he misses, he misses. But we have Chris Bosh, we have people that down low that can rebound. I think you had Chris Anderson down there, right? Was he in the game at the time, or was it Haslam?
I think it was Haslam.
I would think it would be Haslam.
Unit, by the way, Haslam is a unit.
Yeah.
But no, it's possible they said something like that. But at the end of the day, it could just be LeBron. LeBron decided to shoot the ball with 8 seconds left, so that he could get the rebound.
Ray was so draped on that shot too.
So Bear, being that you're a Heat fan too, how did you deal with the MJ and LeBron talk while you were a Heat fan?
Was there an MJ LeBron talk then?
Not as serious, but there was. It's been there since forever.
I never even acknowledged it. I never even thought somebody would even come close to the MJ's accomplishments as far as
probably not until he won his second ring. That's probably when it started.
No, I didn't even think of it until he won Cleveland. I didn't even think that was even a thing until he won Cleveland. He came back from 3-1. I started to give him that respect then.
That was a very crazy moment. But yeah, I don't want to get into this debate. So
yeah, we're dragging our balls to India.
So
which is the most important thing, the most relevant thing that's going on right now.
UFC or
I agree.
UFC or the quick touch on MLB and then go into UFC.
MLB, bro.
Gotcha. So, Yankees continue their hot streak. The one thing that is most noticeable is we beat the Orioles for the millionth time this year, and Gleyber Torres has 12 home runs on the year, and 10 of them have come against the Orioles.
And it's May.
Yeah.
He has 10 home runs against Orioles, and it's May.
So he is the youngest AL player in MLB history with 6 multi-home run games. He's 22 years old. And also, the Yankees have won 10 of their last 11 series with no Judge, no Stanton, no Severino. And there's some Didi Gregorius, and there's probably some other guys there. Who knows? But, yeah, that's the only thing Yankees I want to get on. We talked about the shift thing earlier. So, like, I just want to ask you real quick, Wes. What do you think of the defensive shift?
I don't know. I mean, statistically, it's definitely correct. So, as a pitcher, you have to just check out emotionally for that at bat if he does happen to do something like the situation where the guy just bunts and walks to first.
So,
like, it's not on you. Just get over it.
So say it comes down to like a very big part of the game. Let's just say, bottom ninth, whatever. You got runner on second. Do you still do the shift? I mean, you've done it every other time.
Maybe like an alternative of the shift. Maybe not the full on shift, but like something like it.
Because you would just really hate for a shift to be the reason you lose a game.
Yeah, the full-on shift with the winning run on second, that takes balls. The guy better be an only pull hitter, like, ever.
Right. But...
So what are you guys talking about? Like, what does that mean?
Well, I mean...
So, a defensive shift, Bear...
They used to shift on David Ortiz all the time, and he would just hit it to left field a lot.
So, a defensive shift, Bear, like, you know how you have, like, your normal first base, second base, short, and third, so... Let's say there's a lefty up that is going to hit to the right side more times than not. They put the second base in like shallow right field. They put the shortstop basically behind the second base bag, and they put the third baseman where the shortstop plays. And they do that because that lefty is known to just completely crush the ball to the right side of the field. So if he's going to crush it, if that second baseman's in shallow right, I mean, he can just field it with ease and throw him out at first.
So, who was the guy up at the bat at the time when they were calling it ballsy to do the defensive?
Couldn't tell you. I just remember watching. I just know that Rich Hill was pitching for the Dodgers, and some guy, he either bunted it or did like a half-ass swing, and it just rolled down third base line to where the guy could basically moonwalk to first base and be safe for a mile. But yeah, it's just this thing that Joe Madden with the Chicago Cubs made popular. I don't know if he started it, but he made it popular.
The shift?
Yeah, Joe Madden made it popular. I don't think he started it, but it was...
He definitely didn't start it.
No, he did it for like right-handers, left-handers, a lot of different things.
Shift's been in the game for years and years and years and years.
Yeah, it just like everyone started doing it ever since Joe Madden started. Like,
you're saying people are doing it a lot more because of Joe Madden.
Yeah, statistically, the shifts have increased like drastically since Joe Madden began doing it.
Because you said made it popular, and I felt like that was weird because I felt like everybody, like every person that's played baseball at a high level knows what a shift is.
Probably bad verbiage on my part. I meant like does it more often.
Right, I feel you.
Yeah.
I was just like, this guy, you were giving this guy credit for the shift. I was like, hold on.
No, I was just meaning like people do it a lot more than they used to because of how often.
Steph Curry invent the three? I'm kidding.
He invented the 25-footer.
He made the three popular.
Exactly.
I guess.
No one's trying to for 30 until Steph Curry started to.
He made that popular, at least.
I mean, not at the same level, but you could draw the comparison. Like,
I was just trolling, dude.
no, I get that, but at the same time, like it's an actual comparison. But anyways, UFC.
Joe Madden, the originator. Sorry, yeah, UFC. Sorry, we can just run down through all those fights instead of even like breaking them down and just pick them.
Go ahead, man.
Francis Ngannou versus Junior Dos Santos, UFC heavyweight main event.
Dos
Minneapolis.
Santos. Bear, who you got? Not how many rounds. Who you
Yeah.
got?
I have no idea, man.
Good call.
idea.
Me too. You got.
I got Francis by first round knockout.
All right, next fight.
DC Stipe.
Bear, who you got?
DC Stipe.
Good call. Me too. You got.
Wait, Bear knows those fighters. He should just pick one. It's Cormier versus Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight strap rematch. Yeah, Cormier. I have DC by decision.
Heart's telling me Stipe. Mine's telling me go with DC. Going DC.
Damn, I wish I'd let you pick. I'd have just picked Stipe for the fuck of it, though.
It just really, I mean, trust me, I want Stipe to win. I've talked big on him, but I don't see him beating him. DC's the man.
DC's
Only a man that can beat him is John Jones.
This is a waste of a 5 second. John Jones, Thiago Santos.
Next.
John Jones.
Hold on.
By however the hell he won.
Exactly.
You guys see where Tony Ferguson is roasting Khabib's manager? Well, not manager, but his manager. Yeah, he's roasting him, and he's basically trying to start that kind of push where he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm trying to this guy." But Tony Ferguson might be returned from his absence to fight Donald Cerrone or whatever next month. Maybe he's still dedicating his time to fight Khabib.
So here's what's going to happen with that. Tony's going to end up winning that fight against Cerrone, and after that, he's going to call out Khabib. Because, I mean, technically, he's going to get the fight regardless if he wins that. I mean, whether he calls him out or not is what I meant. If he wins, he'll get that fight, so that'll just make it a thing. And then Khabib will have to respond, like, I kill you or something like that.
The thing is, they've scheduled that Tony Khabib fight so many times already, and it's never happened. I think this will be the 5th time they scheduled it.
Who is it that's pulled out or missed weight on that?
Khabib hurt, Tony hurt, Khabib missed weight. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I don't think Khabib actually missed weight. Most of the time injury. I think it's always been like an injury issue.
All right, so on the Tony Cerrone, I got you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go Cowboy. Cowboy wins that fight.
Tony by... See, I don't know if it will... I feel like Tony stops the fight in like the second or the third. But I don't know if he'll... I feel like there's so many ways Tony could beat Cowboy. I'll say Tony knocks him out in a second.
I believe that too, and you know what? I'll be really surprised if Cerrone does win, but for some reason, because of how favored he is, I just see Cerrone catching him and just that be it.
Well, Cowboy can knock anybody out. He can definitely knock Tony out. I just think Tony's really good at like controlling the space and not getting himself... Tony takes some shots, but I don't think he'll extend himself to get knocked out by Cowboy, but we'll see. That would be a story if Cowboy ruins Tony's like run that he's had, which has been crazy, like 10 fights plus in the lightweight division.
So Bear, who you got on that fight?
Which one?
Tony and Cowboy.
I've never seen Cowboy fight, but I saw him fight. What's his name? And
he brawls.
Yeah. It's fun to watch. So, are you taking anyone?
Yeah, I mean, Tony.
Tony? Okay, I gotcha.
Gustafson, Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith.
I'll take Gustafson.
I'll take Anthony Smith. I'll take Anthony Smith by decision.
Okay.
It'd be weird. It might be a 5-rounder because Dana does that on some gay shit for no reason. Cejudo against unknown. We're going to all go Cejudo Morales.
Meech, who do you got on that?
Cejudo.
Pretty difficult.
He just beat roided out TJ.
Yeah, I was going to say, pretty hard to go against Cejudo right now.
He just beat a fucking robot, so he's good. All right, Nunes, Holly Holmes.
Ooh, wow. Pretty hard to go against Amanda Nunes after that fight against Cyborg. But I'm gonna go Holly Holmes. I just think that she's got the spacing on her. I think that Holly Holmes wins that fight by knockout.
Bear.
I've seen both of them fight, not, and I'm gonna have to go with Nunes because historically I've seen the girl that's like been the best ends up losing.
Yep,
So I'm gonna have to go with Nunes.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I think Nunes bounces her head off the canvas early.
I'd say most people would agree.
I would love to see Nunes fight Valentina Shevchenko again. I think that's the fight to make, specifically if Nunes wins.
So outside of the Diaz and Pettis fight, are there any other main ones to talk about?
Nope.
So I don't
yeah,
think there is. So Diaz and Pettis, I think we've honestly asked who we thought would win. I'm still rolling with Diaz. I just think that overall at that higher weight, I know that Pettis won that previous weight, but I just think overall that Diaz is the better fighter. Now, granted, Bear made an excellent point. How long has it been since Diaz has fought last? I still think that his talent will.
It's been almost 3 years.
Yeah, that plays a factor. I'm here to tell you.
Definitely does. I pick Pettis. I think Pettis KOs him. I think Pettis will just be moving at a different speed in that fight against Nate. Nate can take a shot for sure, and Nate is a more consistent fighter. But if we get like the best version of Anthony Pettis, I think he knocks him out.
Okay.
And he hasn't been knocked out in a long time.
Bear, you still rolling with your boy Pettis?
With who?
Pettis?
I can hear you, sorry. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because I like Anthony Pettis a lot, but Nate is not a human being. He's a robot. And all it takes is for Nate to get lucky and grab a hold of that guy and just choke him out.
Fact.
So either Pettis will knock him out or Nate will win by submission.
Okay, I like that.
All I'll say is I think the only route to victory for Nate is fucking decision.
I think so too, but I like Bear's thing on the submission though. That is a very it's talked about it a lot, but it's still underrated as part of his game.
Nate's really good there, but Pettis is a dawn on the ground. Pettis is a black belt. Pettis has submitted many people.
Diaz is a black belt.
Pettis has been full mounted and then finished people right after. I just don't know. I'm just saying, unless Diaz destroys him like he does like he did to McGregor before getting him to the ground, I don't think he submits Pettis. I think Diaz's only route to victory is decision against Pettis.
I don't think either one of them are better than either one of them on the ground, but I just think...
I think Pettis is better than Nate on the ground.
I think differently. I think if one of them are better, I think Diaz is better on the ground.
Well, we might get a chance to see it play out. So
get a chance to see some wrestling.
See some little grappling. No, I would love to see it. They're both really good on the ground. And I'm not saying Nate's not, and I'm not saying Nate can't do that to almost everybody, but I just don't see him imposing his will on Pettis and getting a tap. Out of all the ways I see Nate beating him, I just don't see that.
I don't know if I impose his will. I think it's more about getting lucky sometimes. Sometimes you just get in a good position and you get your arm around them in the right way, and then you can just capitalize on that. And then the fights don't go exactly how you plan them.
Right. I just think if Nate fucks him up standing up, I could see that more so, and then him just choking the life out of him after he's already been fucked up.
So
I see that coming more than Nate carving his guard.
So I want to hit on NFL real quick, being that we're done with the MMA, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. So NFL, Buccaneers planning to cut Gerald McCoy. Either you know where he's from. He was a high draft pick whenever he was picked.
huge contract too, or no?
I want to say he did.
Yeah, I think he had a big contract. That's probably why they cut him.
But yeah, Gerald McCoy from Oklahoma, I believe. You may want to check me on it, but I'm about 95% sure. Gerald McCoy planning to get cut, and they just signed Ndamukong Suh.
95.
I mean, McCoy's really good. He's not as good as Suh. The problem with Suh is, he gets double teamed everywhere, so it's really hard for him to like put up the stats.
Sue's just a mercenary, isn't he?
Yeah, loves
He
to.
doesn't give a shit.
He's the Draymond Green of the league.
But he just goes to all these different teams for, a good amount of money. He doesn't have any team or city. It's just
Oh yeah,
the highest bid.
Yeah, highest bidder. Whoever's paying me the most, I'm going to see you.
He's a mercenary, dude. It's crazy.
So,
I hate Susie.
what do you guys think of the Buccaneers? Winston's coming back. Bruce Arians, head coach, does really well with quarterbacks.
I've got one word.
Let's hear it.
Ass.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah, I think that fully describes it.
In that division, too, what are they going to do? It's Carolina, New Orleans, and Atlanta.
You see, I feel like people thought that Jameis Winston was going to be up to Cam Newton type play, and he just never. I think Wes said it a lot. He threw so many interceptions in college. Like, how are you going to throw less in the pros?
Right.
Or just have, sustained accurate success in the pros when you're that against
College.
ACC defenders.
I don't think it's talked about, or maybe it has been, but the level of play for quarterback, D1 college, even at the highest level of D1 college, to the NFL is absolutely ridiculous. You have to elevate your game that much, probably just as much as it took you to play in D1. You have to elevate it just as much to get into the NFL and be successful and throw it accurately, not throw interceptions.
And Jameis has had Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Barry King.
He's had.
I like Jameis though, but
Yeah, I've liked him. It's just he's never really done anything.
tough division, bro. Tough division to be the Bucks.
In the Saints.
And so,
I'm just saying because the Saints, Panthers, and fucking Falcons in the division.
Yeah,
to that tough
Playoff
division
success, all have had recent playoff success.
yeah.
everyone's giving the Browns this idea that they're going to be the next team in the AFC. This is not.
We will see on that.
Oh yeah, we need to go through NFL divisions and have Bear.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and hit on that real quick.
Hold on,
Bear.
look up the divisions real quick.
I can just give you the teams if you don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
we
got
know
my
the
computer.
teams. So AFC North. Steelers, right?
I don't know.
You gonna say that and then pick the Browns?
No, I was thinking more the Ravens over any of them because
You've been
how
saying the Ravens big league.
their defense is tremendous. They have a tremendous defense, and defense wins games. But
That's who's getting overlooked with this Browns hype, really.
I know, right?
Nobody's talking about Baltimore.
It's because of Lamar Jackson.
Doesn't matter. The Ravens can win 13 to 10 times and get to the playoffs.
Fact.
Yeah.
So AFC East: Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, Bills.
Patriots.
AFC South: you got the Colts, the Titans, the
Texans, Jags.
yeah.
Texans.
Okay.
I like that.
Wes, is it you that picked them, or are we the only
I
ones?
picked
Titans. You picked the Titans.
Tennessee,
I
but
picked the Colts.
Houston as my wild card over the Colts.
I picked the Colts.
Yeah, Houston won the division last year. Put some respect on their name.
So AFC West, you got the Chargers, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Broncos.
Chiefs.
See, I picked the. Who the fuck did I pick? I believe I picked the Chiefs.
You picked the Chiefs, yeah?
You picked the Chargers.
Yes, I did.
So NFC North, you got the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions.
To me, it's either between the Bears and the Vikings. I don't think the Packers are that good. Even though I love me some Aaron Rodgers, the bad man.
The bad man. Discount double check.
I think it's going to have to go to the Vikings. If the Vikings play well, I think it'll go to. I mean, obviously.
Clay, who'd you pick? Did we pick 3 different teams for this division? Clay?
I picked the Bears.
The Bears, and I picked the Packers. So
Yep.
that's interesting to see the NFC North play out. Fuck the Lions, by the way.
I remember I picked up these kids from on an Uber trip whenever the NCAA tournament was in Des Moines, and they were in watching Michigan, and this guy was drunker, as Preston White would say. He was drunker than a skunk. And he kept telling me Matt Stafford is a top 5 quarterback in the league, and I was like, dude, do you realize what you're saying?
Top 5 highest paid athlete for years.
He's like, dude, just hear me out. He's like, Matt Stafford's good. And I'm like, what evidence are you using to support that?
Right, he made Calvin Johnson retire.
Calvin Johnson, the
he made one of the greatest receivers to ever touch the field retire in his prime. That's how good Matt Stafford is.
So, NFC East, you got the Cowboys, you got the Eagles, you got the Redskins, and the Giants.
God, dude.
Right, what an annoying division. I hate this division and all the teams.
Dude, I hate it more than anything.
I hate them all. I hate every team in this division.
I'm going to have to give it to the Cowboys just because.
I think
they're the only team I can see them.
Meech, didn't you give it to the Cowboys too?
I picked the Dallas Cowboys begrudgingly.
Yeah, I picked the Philadelphia Fly Eagles Fly.
Yeah.
NFC West, you got the Jimmy G 49ers, Colin Kaepernick's team. You got the Seahawks, you got the Cardinals, and you got the Rams.
Real tough one. That's a real tough one.
As Dylan Weaver would say, the Rams.
Clay, did you get cute or did you pick the Rams like a real guy?
Like a real one, I picked the Rams.
We all picked Rams. That might be the first one we all agreed on.
Pretty good division here outside of the Steelers and the Patriots.
Wait, can we get confirmation? Did Bear pick Baltimore in the AFC North?
Yeah, he did. So this is a good division right here. The NFC South, you got the Panthers, you got the Saints, you got the Falcons, and you got your Jameis Winston Buccaneers.
What was the first team again? Sorry, cut out.
Oh, you just gotta listen, man. It was it was the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Buccaneers.
And Drew Brees plays good, and he doesn't age, which he does in the Saints.
All right, so who are your wild card teams? Because you
Wait,
picked.
who did we pick in the South?
I
picked Atlanta.
I picked Atlanta. You picked the Saints.
Okay, sounds good.
So wild card
team.
for the AFC Bear. You had the Chiefs. You had the Steelers. You had the Patriots, and you had the Texans.
I had the Ravens. I'm going to have to go with the Steelers.
That's what I meant. So obviously the Steelers and who else?
Steelers are going to be the wild card.
And then one other wild card.
You got like the Colts. You got the Titans. You got the Chargers. Okay. Yep.
I like that.
Yep. Good call.
My wild cards in the AFC were the Chiefs because I have the Chargers win the division. And the Texans.
I have the Brownies and the Chargers. So NFC Bear, you have the Rams, you have the Cowboys, you have the Saints, and you have the Vikings.
I'm going with the Packers and the Bears. That's
Okay.
possible, right?
Yeah, that's possible. I can see that. I'll give you a little angels in the out. I'll give you some angels in the outfield. It could happen. You guys have seen that, right?
Your NFC wild card, Clay?
My NFC wild card was the Packers and who was it? The Packers and probably the Cowboys.
Cardinals. Oh, the Cowboys.
I think it was the Cowboys.
I'm trying to think what mine was. It was the Panthers and the Eagles, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, the Panthers and the Eagles.
So, moving on from that, Julian Edelman. Obviously he's only had Tom Brady, but like I feel as if I feel like it doesn't just take him having a great quarterback for him to be a good receiver. Um, I think that he could flourish in any system possible. He can run literally any route. He obviously can't jump up over a guy and take it like in the red zone, but he can run any route. How good do you think he really is? Like, is he underrated? Meech, what do you think?
Well, I was gonna say, like, where do you put him in comparison to Jarvis, for example?
And to Jarvis Landry,
Yeah.
he obviously doesn't put out the stats that Jarvis Landry does, not as high, but you gotta say he's just right there, right?
I think he's on Landry's level.
Edelman runs the slant better than anybody else. This guy's
Were you saying where do I put him in the league as far as receivers?
Yeah, he's top 10, right?
Easily top 10. Probably near the closer half, like at the bottom, like right outside the top 5.
So
More than, like, close to 10.
in no order, you obviously have AB, Julio, DeAndre Hopkins, OBJ, and your fifth one you can just
Yes.
throw in whoever.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
Easily.
Michael Thomas. So
Easily.
into that
Clear
six
cut right under those guys.
that 6-7 spot, which is like an honorable mention, who are you putting there?
I mean, this will sound homer as fuck, but
No, I think
Juju, look at
Juju's
the
up there.
numbers.
I think he is too.
Look at the numbers.
I think
He's
he's
the
7.
new Michael Thomas. He's the new Michael Thomas.
I think he's 7th, but he's there nonetheless. So
I mean,
But then I think Edelman right outside of that. Right outside the Michael Thomas, Juju. I don't know who else you could put up in that. Tyreek Hill-ish, you know what I mean?
I think you'd be a fool almost not to put Tyreek Hill.
Right in that same, like, Juju, Michael Thomas
Yeah,
kind of
I
area.
think you could put
Michael
him at
Thomas
6.
is better than both of them at the
Yes.
position of receiver. Tyreek Hill obviously does other shit, but
who does the Chargers have as far as receivers?
Keenan Allen.
That's
God,
it.
Keenan Allen's got to be up there. He's got
Top
to be
10.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's right there with Edelman. Like, that's a tough. Who would you rather have, Keenan Allen or Julian Edelman? Probably Keenan Allen, but
Yeah, because Keenan, I mean, they both have Hall of Fame quarterbacks, so.
that's tough, man. That is tough. I think that I would trust Edelman more just because he's done it longer. It's nothing to discredit Keenan Allen. He can only
you'd rather throw to Edelman with everything, but you'd rather have Keenan Allen for your season.
yeah. I think that's
I
fair.
like that too. I like that a lot.
I want Julian Edelman to be the guy I'm throwing to forever, but I want Keenan Allen for 16 games. He's a fucking unit. 6'3", fast as hell, runs great routes, catches everything.
He's just a gamer. Like he's the guy that will throw the downfield block to the team.
He, to me, as far as like a receiver, like Michael, clearly better than Keenan Allen. He's just smoother in and out of cuts, in and out of routes, deking corners. Like Keenan Allen is a lot like Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is just smoother.
So, Bear, to shine some light on Edelman, would you say that he's underrated?
Underrated?
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask. If you ask a Patriots fan, he's the best ever.
Right.
Number one, Beckham can't fuck with Edelman.
Yeah. But I think that as far as like the overall league is concerned, I'd say he was rated. But I think after what he did in the Super Bowl with how he was getting open, he was destroying people. He was leaving them in the dust. I think if you look at that, he has to be up there as far as respect in the league. I would give him probably number 7 if I had to put like a top 10 wide receivers in the league. And maybe it's because Tom Brady's throwing to him, but Edelman is a unit. I think he has the best slant in the game. I've said that already, but I think he has the best slant in the game.
And shouldn't his performance in the Super Bowl matter? That's how like everybody grades Tom Brady and Peyton and all these guys. Shouldn't Edelman's like performance in the Super Bowl mean even more than the majority of his career? It shouldn't. He dominates in the Super Bowl.
He had 12 targets in the Super Bowl. He had 10 receptions for 141 yards.
There you go.
Just grinding. 20 to 20,
14
baby.
yards of reception.
So
He's
here
Mr. 20 to 20.
here
He
is
gets him down there.
his playoff stats against the Chargers. he was 9 for 151, and then against the Chiefs he was 7 for 96.
And then the Super Bowl,
10 of
10 for
141.
141.
See, and that's just it. In the regular season, he
If
went.
you look at that, if you look and whatever you're gonna say to like to demoralize like his numbers for the regular season, dude, you almost have to say top 5 based on that alone. That 3-game postseason run. Are those other guys that we said ahead of him putting up that 3-game postseason run? No, they're not.
Bro, look at this. Is a really big stat right here. Julian Edelman didn't have a postseason touchdown last year.
Does he need to? That's why I say he's Mr. 20 to 20.
No, he doesn't. But it's just like you would think that he would have had that.
I just don't think that Keenan Allen, Michael Thomas, or Juju is having that 3-game run in the postseason, capping it off in the Super Bowl with those numbers like Julian Edelman did.
You know something that's really weird too? Both Edelman and Antonio Brown were quarterbacks. No, have played quarterback. Julian Edelman was a quarterback at Kent State, but AB played some quarterback as well.
I was going to say, too, do you guys agree that AB is still the best receiver in the league?
Yes.
No, I don't know.
His stats will take a hit, but no, he's still the best receiver in the league. No one runs a route like him. He can only control what he can control, and that's to run the best route and catch what he can catch.
I think he is, I think he's the most skilled at the position, but yeah, he's not going to look like it the next couple of years, I don't think.
Yeah, his stats will not support that.
Unfortunately.
So, last thing on NFL that I
Mayor,
have.
who would you say? Would you have Beckham, DeAndre, Julio?
I'm going to have to go with DeAndre Hopkins just because of what he's done with the quarterback he's had.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So,
He's done with nothing. He's literally
yeah.
made a career with nothing.
Julio Jones is just so inconsistent that, like, he could go, 3 of 30 one game, and then the next game he could go, 10 for 200 with 2 touchdowns.
And that's just Atlanta, too, dude. You don't want to bet the house on they'll break your heart every time, dude. You never know what Atlanta you're going to get.
So, last thing on NFL that I have to hit on, Nick Foles with the Jags. It's Jacksonville was really good the last year or two. And
I think you forgot to mention Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP.
Facts. Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on this guy's name really quick.
But
First of his name.
It's always been that their Achilles heel was always their quarterback, Blake Bortles, from
Central Michigan?
Central Florida.
Same thing.
But they always had the running game. They had decent receivers with Allen
AB's
Robinson.
from Central Michigan, Jesus.
Yeah, with Allen Robinson.
Allen Hearns.
Allen Hearns, I couldn't remember his name, and Marquise Lee. They had I don't know if he still plays
They had
there,
good
but tight
They've
end,
always had good tight ends.
Mercedes Lewis.
Mercedes Lewis. They've had other good tight ends as well.
And then Leonard Fournette, T.J. Yeldon running the ball. And then their defense as well. Yeah, they have a great left tackle, Cam Robinson
Their
from
defense
Alabama.
was number 1 in the league, and they still find ways to lose.
Yeah, so it's just like Blake Bortles, I think, is to blame there. I think that the Jags make a great turn in the right direction. I don't think that, obviously I didn't pick them to make any playoff action, but I think that they're going to be better than what people are writing them off to be.
I think we got to go to Ron Jaworski to get his take on Blake Bortles. Well, let me tell you something about Blake Bortles, ladies and gentlemen. He stands in the pocket tall. He's about 6'4", 6'5", 225 pounds. When you see him step up with that big arm, oh boy. Tell you what, never seen anything like this in Dan Marino. He's going to lead the Jags to prominence. And if you don't, you guys listen to Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Blake Bortles is the guy.
I feel like Mel Kiper, if he's talking about Blake Bortles, he's like, great guy, checks down, big body guy, has a great eye of the field, always goes well to the number 2, number 3 guy, quick feet, very mobile, audibles out of the plays, all around great quarterback.
Don't know if he has it when he has to have it, but everything else checks out.
Mel Kiper doesn't take a fucking breath. He just goes in on that shit.
Blake Bortles. Ron Jaworski. You just love saying his name. Blake Bortles.
I feel like every time they do a Sunday night or Monday night game, and I know Wes that you can agree to this. When Andy Reid's the coach, they always talk about the kick
play
punt,
sheet.
the kick punt pass thing.
Oh yeah.
Where he was like in 7th grade, how big he
You know,
was.
too, at this point, Andy Reid's just tired of them showing that shit. Like, dude, we get it.
They showed that every fucking
Andy
year.
Reid was a big ass 14-year-old and he fucking won the punt passing game. Like, that has nothing to do with his genius as a coach today. Like, why waste everybody's time and show it again?
They do it every fucking game.
Yes, they do. And they talk about his play sheet.
Oh God! Remember you sent that picture of that guy that worked at the McDonald's in the Philippines that looked just like Andy Reid.
That was Andy Reid, and you cannot tell me it wasn't. I won't be told it wasn't.
But
I
what,
wasn't even the one that pointed it out. It was one of my friends, and he literally was crying, laughing. He's like, "Bro, Andy Reid works at the McDonald's." Like, what? Oh my God,
but
that was wrong of us. That I don't condone that activity at all. But goddamn, it was Andy Reid, bro.
Bear.
He was
So
going through that shit in Philadelphia, bro. I thought he was really just having some tough times.
so Bear. Talking about Nick Foles, do you think that the Eagles like regress? Like, do you think that they fall out of playoff contention? Well, not playoff contention, but like real Super Bowl contender. I mean, they're getting a better quarterback, but they just seem to play a lot better with Nick Foles. What do you think happens with the Eagles moving forward?
I think that they have a solid season, and that if they do make the first round of playoffs, they get wrecked. Because I don't believe in Carson Wentz that much. I think he's a great regular season quarterback, but I don't think he's going to do what Nick Foles was able to do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I have Eagles making wild card, and I completely agree. I think they make it and get destroyed by whatever division winner they happen to go up against. Unless somebody weird wins the NFC North, like the Bears or the Vikings, I could see Philly beating one of those teams. But
Right.
other than that, they're not beating the Saints. They're not beating the Rams. They're not beating the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're not beating the Cowboys. Oh, well, they're not going to match up. I guess they could, realistically. But they're not beating any of those teams. They have to pray they get the NFC North champ.
So I
And that's
think
not Green Bay.
I think that the Jaguars are a great skill player away from being a playoff team. Because obviously Nick.
Their defense fell apart last year. The Jalen Rams, Jesus.
I think the Jags are getting buried in the bottom of that division. I think the Titans are on the come up. The Colts are back with luck. And Houston's the defending division champs. I don't see any come up for the Jags.
See, I'm kind of that way on the Titans. I think that they kind of take a step back. I'm just not big on Mariota.
You feel better about the Jags going forward, Titans?
Not this coming year.
You think they're a skill player away?
Yeah, I think they're a skill player away. I feel better about the Titans moving forward given what we have right now. But if the Jags got a skill player worth a fuck, then I think I'd feel better about them moving forward. Because who does Mariota really have to throw to?
Does he qualify?
I said another one.
Like another one. Okay, I was just saying, like, he's definitely nasty.
not a skill player, another one. DJ Khaled.
They kind of remind me of Cincy, man. Jags have been rebuilding for years, and they got a lot of talent. And then they had
it's the AFC Championship, though.
And they did, and they were a possession away from winning it. And then they went 4-12 last year.
Yeah, but let's just chill on calling the Bengals when they made it to the AFC Championship.
That's what it reminds me of. Well, yeah, true. Good point. Good point. I guess they're better than the Bengals, but it just reminds me of
how bad it would be to be a Bengals fan.
Talent. Not performing with talent, that's what it reminds me.
Imagine how bad that would be, being them, knowing that you had the talent to last like 6 years and you have nothing to show for.
Nope. Not one playoff win. And they had one playoff win, but they had to turn into the bank.
Yeah, they were.
That they didn't want to win the playoff game.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin lost to Tim Tebow.
Oh, God. Why would you bring that up?
Just want to point out how much I don't like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Tried to trip Jacoby Jones like a true bro at one time. People love to bring that up too.
I love it.
I'm not even going to go there. I almost said something reckless, but they love bringing up the Tomlin trip thing, dude. Can we just let that die?
It's kind of funny though.
Can't let that die, but he lost it.
Every time some bad shit's going on for us, I see that getting memed everywhere. The Tomlin trip. Like, all it would have took was one of these, and the Steelers would have been right back in it. I'm tired of getting memed, bro. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of New England and Robert fucking Kraft.
Right.
That whole war.
Robert Kraft needs to just be taken out of the whole scene of football.
They don't deserve Julian Edelman, bro. Fucking losers. Shit org.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Do any of you young men have anything else to say?
Fuck New England.
Wake and take out.
All right, boys. Wake and take out.
You're